Welcome to Conscious Coupling, where Frederic and Christy Whitman share their experiences of creating a conscious, connected relationship. Every week, they give practical tools, steps, and processes to help you find the loving connection with your partner. Let's get into today's conversation with Frederic and Christy.
Hey everybody, it's Christy
and Frederic.
Do you want to release your old hurts and resentments? We've been talking about that on the past episodes. Today I'm going to do a process. Frederic's just going to sit with me and support me in this. But we've talked a lot about in the past that things in your relationship, maybe situations and circumstances that you might be holding on to that are closing down your heart for your partner, maybe places where you feel you can't trust. And there's energy there that needs to be released. And unless you release that energy, it's like snakes and scorpions in your relationship. It's very biting, and it really does deteriorate the love that is in the relationship. It's like energy suckers, if you will, that really are taking up space and not allowing you to move into that fullness of, first of all, who you are. Because let's just take the relationship out of it for a minute. If you're holding on to resentments or hurts of any kind,
or any kind of anger,
fear, guilt, shame, resentment, any lower level emotion that doesn't feel good, if you're holding on to that in any capacity and you don't feel good in your body, that is why you are attracting the things that you don't want in your life. This is law of attraction at its best. This is what my work has been about for the past 17 years. My own personal work for over 20 years now is with the 7 essential laws. And you cannot attract what you want and what you want to feel aligned with from a place of lack. And anytime you are in a place of anything than less than satisfied, you have lower level emotions. The best place to be in your relationship, in your life, with money, with your boss, with your career, with your clients, with anything in your life, is being in a place of satisfaction, feeling contentment, feeling that fulfillment of what is, and then growing that energy from there, feeling more love or success or passion or freedom or any of those other things. But if you're feeling anything less than satisfaction, you're entering into the equation, into your own manifestation, into your own life, something that's not what you want. You're not going to get the results that you want. You can't. Vibrationally, it just is too far of a jump. So if you look at it from a spectrum, you've got lack and limitation, or any of the emotions that we had mentioned, fear, resentment, hurt, all that kind of stuff on one end. You can't feel satisfied when you're holding any of that energy. What happens with most people is a situation happens, maybe my husband says something, or he does something, or he doesn't do something, or he doesn't do something fast enough, or whatever the situation is. He hurts, maybe I feel betrayed because he chose his mom over me, or he did something to upset the kids, or whatever it is, right? If I close my heart down in that moment and I don't process the energy of it, and let's face it, most adults don't have emotional intelligence of how to be aware of what they're feeling and then know actually how to process it. You might be aware, I'm hurt or I'm angry, but then how do you process it? Most of us, out of self-protection, we close down our hearts. And in closing down our hearts, what happens is you close down the energy. And energy just doesn't sit there. Energy is always moving. It needs to. That's just the nature of it. It moves in and out and up and down, in and through. So it's there inside the block. It's like a block inside of your heart. Your heart is closed down around that. Now it's creating a vortex of energy. I like to think of it as like a caged animal, like a lion in a cage, right? Just wanting to get out. It's creating a vortex of energy, and that vortex of energy is setting up like energies to it, the other thoughts, other feelings, and then all of a sudden you start seeing evidence of this. And you're like, see, he's doing more things. See, I can't trust him. He keeps saying these things or doing these things. And now the point of attraction that you have is from this block. And it's from this energy that then becomes manifest in your life. But what happens if you open up your heart, you release that caged animal out, you release the energy out of it, you're now free and clear, you don't have a button anymore. And what that does is it takes you to open up your heart to let the energy release. What happens is, from an energetic perspective, your emotional body, your mental body, and your heart center are all connected. And when you close down your heart center, you close down the possibility of flow of love for higher emotions and also higher vibrational thoughts. So it's like you're stuck in lower level emotions and lower level feelings. So that's what hurts and resentment. You close down your heart, you get into the place of, I can't trust him, he's gonna do it again, what if the other shoe drops, what if he does this, the fear, all the mind chatter that can be in that protective mode, right? And then you still feel, you're not feeling anything, you're still holding on to, instead of processing and letting it out. And the thing is, it only takes about 90 seconds to actually process an emotion, which is the energy, but you're holding on to it, causing havoc in what you're doing. So don't you think it's time to let go of the hurts and resentments, no matter what they are? Now, I want to say this, and I'd love to get your opinion before I do this process with everybody.
Yeah, I can talk.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, what are you going to say?
Go ahead. And now I forgot. Go ahead, what were you going to say?
Well, first of all, I wanted to say, how do you, you gave the example of that energy is inside, and then how do you release it so that it doesn't become a button? Because actually, can you release it totally so it doesn't become a button?
Yes.
Or will it be like an experience where it becomes less and less intense?
Yes.
And then it's released, right?
Both and.
Okay.
So depending on how willing you are to open up your heart and really let it go, it becomes a completely different thing. I'll give an example. I'm going to give you an example of your mom.
There's a lot of examples that she's looking at
stories
with us.
help. No, it's not even with you and me. It was me and your mom. Because we're talking about relationships, right? And so relationship with his mother, my mother-in-law. If your relationship with your mother-in-law or father-in-law or sister-in-law or brother-in-law, whatever, is not a good one, it does. It can affect the relationship. And my relationship with my mother-in-law for years was bad. It was not good. It was very uncomfortable, especially for him, because the two most important women in his life couldn't basically be in the same room or get along to each other. And that's a whole nother thing for you to talk about. But for me, there was years of different situations, very theatrical, dramatic things that happened, where I could tell you the story and you'd be like, oh, it's one of those. And it was easy for me to justify that I'm right. And on her side, she could easily justify that I'm right. Or I was disrespectful, or, everybody could look at, all her friends could say, oh, you're right, Nicole, you're absolutely right, she was wrong in doing that. I could talk to all my friends and family, everybody would side with me and go, oh my God, that's horrible, I can't believe she said or did that. So at one point, I remember sitting there, it was going to be one of our son's birthday parties, I believe it was Maxim, and I was getting a pedicure, and I was thinking about all the things that I had to do for the birthday party. And then I thought about her coming to the party, and I immediately felt myself constrict. And I went, wow. So that was that emotional intelligence. I could feel that constriction. And I went, wait a minute, this is affecting me. And I'm like, I just think of her, and I think of the fact that I'm gonna be seeing her, and I would have to get prepared. I'd have to get in protection mode, right? And I went, what if I just let it all go? What if I just let the history of all these things, all the hurts, all the resentments just go? And I literally felt myself with shackles, just letting the shackles go, just letting all of it be the past and feeling all of that energy from the past, just letting go, so that I was birthed into this new moment, that this new moment, I get to be fresh and new Christy. And that I get to look at her, my mother-in-law, his mother, with fresh new eyes. And I will tell you, this was 2 days before the party. It was amazing. I literally opened the door and I was like, hi. And she was like, everybody feels energy. We're connected energetically before anything. So when I opened the door, had already shifted between the two of us. We had a wonderful party. And I remember at the end of the party, we had connected throughout the day. At the end of the party, she's next to me at the sink helping me, and she had never done that before, never helped me clean up or anything. Here she's helping me. She's bringing things over to the, the counter, helping me with the dishes. And I turned to her and I said, "Thank you so much for helping. I really appreciate your help." And she looked at me and she goes, "You're welcome." And we hugged each other. And there was this sense of connection and love in that moment. And she yelled at her now ex-husband. She's like, "Jimmy, get the camera!" Because it was like, oh my God, this is a monumental moment. And everybody, I remember, my parents, you, everybody just like went, whoa.
I think that was the transformation moment for your relationship with her.
It was. It absolutely was. But it wasn't that moment that transformed it. It was me doing the energy work of releasing it. And that's my point, is that if you want your relationship better and you're holding on to anything of, well, I can never accept that, I can never approve of that, I will never, because I'm justified, you could be there, but it's not going to change the relationship that you have. And my thing is, I wanted my relationship to be better with my husband. And I wanted our family gatherings to be fun and not have any type of tension or tightness in that space. And I didn't want him to feel uncomfortable. I wanted him to feel like, okay, great, my mom and my wife get along. And now how do you feel? Last time she came in town, she's coming in town again. How do you feel about our relationship and your place in it?
Right, there's no tension, because I did my work too with her in showing up, not as the little boy with her, but showing up as the man inside who has a family, who has responsibilities, who has boundaries, who's being respected by his mom, right? So
but
it's
you
a
had to
different
show
relationship.
you had to show her how to treat you based on who
Right.
you are now, not on who you used to be.
Exactly. So all that is now, there's no tension, there's no awkward moments, there's no, even the preparation of that the meeting, for example. So the anxiety of okay, what do I need to do in order to make sure that everybody's going to be happy in the room, and I don't have that anymore. There's none of that
Complete
moment.
freedom.
Yeah, it is. It's wonderful to see my relationship, and it's wonderful to see your relationship with my mother.
So my point to all this, now this is just my relationship with my mother-in-law. I've also done this with my own mother. My relationship with my mother, you can ask my husband, was not good. There were points where, we would clash, and I had to throw her out of my house one time because she was disrespectful. So there were things along the way where I had to put up my boundaries. But all along the way, I've had to do my resentment releasing and my forgiveness. So let's do this really quick just to show you as a demonstration. So you can go ahead and just close your eyes. And if you're driving, you might want to pull over on the side of the road if you're listening to us. Or do it with your eyes open, because energy can be released whether you're with your eyes open or closed. But just feel anywhere inside of your body. Just feel your body right now, just coming really into presence and feeling where in your body do you have any type of tightness, constriction, tension. And just imagine light coming down through the top of your head, just relaxing all of those areas. So if you're having shoulder pain, for example, just imagine that light, that energy is releasing that energy of that shoulder pain or the knee pain or the lower back pain. And just imagine that this healing light, this love from your divine self, from all universal presence, is coming in through the top of your head, releasing and relaxing all the different parts of your body. And now imagine going into your heart center, putting your awareness into your heart center and seeing where your heart is kind of closed down or in protective mode. And allow yourself to tell your heart to release, relax, and open up. You might find yourself sitting up a little bit straighter with your chest, your heart open to the sky, palms up, letting yourself just receive even more expansion instead of a constriction, opening up your heart. And as you start to open up your heart, feel that energy starts to move out of it. You might have awareness of energy going into your mind, bringing up certain thoughts. You might have energy going into your lower body, into your emotional body, making you aware of some feelings of hurts or resentments. And just allow yourself to go into your emotional body. So putting your awareness, putting all of your consciousness into your emotions, and like a pulsation, like as if you were going to take your pulse, feel the pulsation that's happening in your gut area. That is energy. These are emotions, and they're like keys on a piano, for example. If you have certain notes that are fear and anger all the way up to joy, there are certain vibrations that each emotion has. So as you start to feel the pulsation, you might feel, maybe you're angry, and you might feel the intensity of this anger start to get more and more intense. It's like waiting in the ocean for a wave to come, and then all of a sudden you have this big, huge wave, and then the wave just starts to crest, and then it starts to dissipate. That is releasing the energy of it. So right now, think about your partner. And think about any place in your body, just noticing if your heart started to close down, if you started to get some little bit of tension, if you had some emotions coming up. Think about your partner. And with your partner present in front of you as a soul, maybe not a personality at this point, but as the soul self of who he or she is, open yourself up, open your heart up, and feel the shackles around your arms, around your wrists, around your legs, around your power center, just all of that stuff from the past. And you can even imagine you are cutting cords, like cutting cords from the past, like you're taking scissors or just using your hand to just cut off these spaces where you've had all these resentments, just cutting all those ties. Cords are things that pull you down like anchors. Lines of light coming from your heart center are areas where you get to feed the love in your relationship. So imagine cutting all those cords off of your relationship, cutting them out so that in your heart center, just for now, imagine a line of light going from your heart center to his or her heart center. And then feel the love coming back from their soul to your soul. Feel that energy exchange. Just breathing in that love, working first at an energy level. And any place you find that a thought comes up like, yeah, but he did this, right? Take that thought, put it in a bubble, let it go. Imagine erasing it on a chalkboard, saying, I forgive and I release. And then coming back to your heart, feeding your heart center. If anything is pulling you back from the past, imagine cutting the cords. If there's emotions that need to be expressed, if you're all of a sudden feeling this warmth of anger or resentment or frustration or hurt or whatever it is, go back into your belly and feel it like a pulse. Feel just the pulsation. And as you are just experiencing the energy of it, not giving it a label, not giving it a story, not justifying it, just feeling the actual emotion of it. It's like turning on a faucet, just letting the emotion, letting the energy of it just pour out of your body. And then let the light come down through the top of your head, filling up the spaces of love, of light, filling up your body, relaxing your body, letting the energy come through your heart, going through to your partner. You might even imagine that there's a golden ball of light that represents the universal life force energy above both of your heads. And like a triangle of light, imagine light coming down through your partner's head, like a line of light, light going down through your head. And in your heart centers, exchanging beautiful energy and light. So a beautiful triangle of light is being created between the three entities, your God selves, your higher selves, your divine selves, and your soul selves. And this will penetrate into your personalities. Allow yourself to take a deep breath in, releasing your breath. Taking a breath like that is always great for integration of new energy. Releasing the picture, wishing your partner well, releasing the picture of his or her soul, letting them go away, coming back to your own presence and power inside of yourself, taking another deep breath in, feeling the integration, breathing out, and allow yourself to return back into the room. Welcome back. as you are moving about your day and you think of something else that comes out, if your eyes were closed and you didn't see what I was doing, imagine going like this, cutting the cord. The Council of Light shares, and I really truly believe this, and I've seen this for myself as well, is that we are obviously both physical beings. We can feel ourselves, taste, touch, smell, everything, right? But yeah, we're also non-physical. And so we have to do things in our physicality to allow our energy to release. So a lot of times what was recommended to us, and I've done this many times, and we've even taken our kids outside and done this too, is if you have a lot of anger inside of you, my set point was anger. So I was like a big anger bubble, and anything he did or said or anybody else did or said, it was like that was my defense mechanism. That was my go-to emotion. That was the only emotion I allowed myself to feel was anger. And so I would feel just like anger constantly. And in order to release that anger, that set point of anger, that frustration, I took eggs, and what I would do is go out to a place, like we live in Arizona, so there's a desert, there might be a forest, they're biodegradable, so it's not that big of a deal. If you feel like picking up the shells after, you can. But I would take all of my anger and I would put it into the egg. And then I would take that egg and I'd throw it as hard as I could. And there's something so physical, it's like lifting weights, it's just like getting that energy out, getting it out of your physical body. This will help clear you energetically so that you can be fresh and new in this new moment. Because you know what? You are always in the process of becoming. You are different right now than you were 10 seconds ago. You're going to be different 10 minutes from now than you were a year ago. You're always in a state of becoming. You're always in a state of evolving. You're either growing or you're shrinking. And that's really your choice and your own free will. But so is your relationship. So what you're putting into your relationship, what you're feeding it with. If you're holding on to resentments, you're holding and staying stuck in the past, not letting your partner grow into who he is or she is becoming. So remember this moment right here, right now, with your breath. Take a deep breath in. That power is right here in the present moment. And you are fresh and new. And so your relationship, because you are fresh and new, gets to be fresh and new. Anything to say before we close up?
No, that was a wonderful meditation, wonderful result. And if you feel that you want to have more of energy release with Christy and myself, go to connectedcoupling.com and fill out the form, and we'll be happy to get in touch with you.
Awesome. So next episode is going to be on choices and options, because you always have them and it takes you out of the drama triangle. See you next time.
See you soon.
Thanks for listening to Conscious Coupling with Frederic Gobet and Christy Whitman. If you like our show and want to know more, check out ChristyWhitman.com. And please leave us a review on iTunes. Learn how to turn your partner into your soulmate. Join us again next week for another powerful episode.